Hey, what's going on, Denzel?
What's going on, Camille? Boss.
Sealz The Man. I don't want to get fussed out for the government name, so we're gonna call you Sealz. That's the inside joke, people. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. And I'm blessed to be here with you. It's nice meeting you, of course, and looking forward to a good talk.
Same here. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Camille Essick. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Be sure to hit the notification button and subscribe. You can catch all of my website on my website, which is CamilleEssick.com, and Chemistry Room Fragrances. If you have not heard, Heart and Soul is coming October 11th and 12th. 2021. To stay in the loop, you gotta go to my website and subscribe, people, so that way you know what's going on. Don't worry, I'm not gonna bombard you with tons of emails. I do want you in the know, so you can go there and subscribe, and go to my Instagram page, hit the notification button, and follow me there. With that being said, we have Sealz The Man here. I had a chance to talk with him offline. He is really cool, people. Those that know me, y'all, I'm protective about my audience, my people. I don't just bring anybody on here. So he's cool. So that's why he's here. With that being said, what's up, Sealz? And let the people know who you are.
What's going on? Thank you for introducing me to your show and then having me on. Sealz The Man. If you don't know me, I'm on YouTube under Sealz The Man. I talk about understanding the mind of a good man. Talk about everything, understanding why we do certain things we do, why we think the way we do, our love brain, whatever you want to talk about. As long as it's about good men, that's what I talk about. So
yeah, have fun doing it. I love it. And we got to give people, first of all, we got to give Sealz a shout out. He hit a milestone today, 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What inspired you to even start your YouTube channel? Like, what was that like? How did you get into it? Like, what's up with that?
So I was a youth counselor for a few years in the summer and the winter for a church organization. And I just have fun, and I enjoy being with the youth. Not only does it make me feel young, but it invigorates me, man. It's really refreshing to see what our future holds. And that, I was in that seat that one time, and I always looked for a role model, a male role model. I grew up without a father, but I did have role models and my grandfather and my uncles. So I just want to be that, to another, young fella, just like, how I was. And when COVID started, I was at home bored, working from home. Didn't really know what to do after I clocked out and closed the laptop. So, I just had the same mindset of just want to be a help. Try to be a positive in our community somehow, some way. I didn't know what, so I just said, hey, let's try to start a YouTube channel. So I started it, and I just did it straight out of passion. I didn't care about numbers. I didn't care about the views. I just wanted to get my voice out there, and around December of last year, it really started to blow up, thank God. And it's just been a blessing ever since. It's been on the up and up ever since. So I'm just riding a wave and trying to drop gems and knowledge as much as I can. And I love doing this.
So I have to ask this question, Denzel. You're out here giving the relationship advice, and I was at home. I'm still like partially quarantined like everyone else. But during that time, like the whole Derrick Jackson thing went down. It was a scandal. And then this other individual, Kevin Samuels, he's popping up. So what really made the difference for you? Well, what makes you stand out that you're not like a Kevin Samuels or a Derrick Jackson? Like, what makes you set apart from them?
Yeah, so I didn't know much about Kevin Samuels until I got into the YouTube stratosphere. I used to see Derrick Jackson videos on Facebook here and there, but so one thing about men, we know men, and between me and my friends, we always figured there was something up with that dude. We just, yeah, it's just if you look in the comments of a lot of men, they're like, I told y'all there was something about him. But even just talking to me personally, it's just something about it, something wasn't right, and I got a good sense about people.
Like the on my YouTube channel,
yeah, like on my channel, I made up something called Peopleology. Like I'm a peopleologist. Like I just love being quiet and just looking at people and learning from people. And it was always something about him that was just a little off. So I never really got on that train. Like I said, I learned about Kevin Samuels later on. But the difference between me and these guys, I don't like to compare whatever, but I'm all about positivity. Like I understand that men do a lot of stuff that are not welcome, not good, not healthy. But I'm not about that. So like I said, the theme of my channel is understanding the mind of a good man, emphasis on good man. So that is all I talk about. I don't talk about what bad men do because we all know it. It's all publicized. It's all broadcasted. It's the most popular thing probably on YouTube. So what people don't talk about enough is understanding how good men work, what good men look for, how to find good men. So I find joy in that because that's all I know. I'm a good man myself.
An example of that, like what? Give us a taste of that. Like, what is something you would probably say, on that topic?
When it comes to good men, like we are trying to build. So that's one thing we try to build with the people we associate with. We try to build with the women we are in love with or are married to or in a relationship with. So that's our number one thing. We're looking for a partner. Relationship is about partnership. The thing with, I don't want to say bad men, but the thing with unfit men or undeserving men is that they are not trying to build with their loved ones or their loved one. They're trying to get what they need from that person and use them in whatever way to get what they want. Good men don't think like that. We're already working on ourselves, but we know we can't do it without a queen. We know we can't do it without help. You know what I'm saying? So we try to make that connection. So that's the foundation of good men. We're trying to build to be better. So
that's really good. We're gonna circle back into that.
Yeah.
And there's so many things, and just already I can tell I want to bring you back on the show because you just seem like you're gonna have a lot of good content as far as value bringing to the conversation. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions I do want to ask, and a lot of women have asked this, is why do men struggle with communicating in relationship? To me, I feel like I don't think men have a problem communicating. I think is they opt with whom they choose to communicate with. What do you think about that?
I can see your point, but being a man, men do have a issue with communicating.
Really?
And it's not about hey, you saw that game last night, or you heard about the news. I'm not talking about that type of communication. Yeah. I'm talking about what's going on inside their minds, what's going on inside their spirits, what's really happening, like what's really going on with you, bro. Like even in my clique, my group of best friends, even I see like we kind of struggle with talking amongst ourselves, like what are we struggling with as men. And it's one of the things I talk about on my channel is that most men are raised in that fashion. They're raised in that mindset that if you express yourself, that expression is a sign of weakness. You're acting like a girl. Why are you crying like a girl? Stuff like that. So a lot of not even fathers, but a lot of households tell their boys it's not okay to cry. And if you got a problem with something, suck it up. Be a man. That's a huge be a man thing, right? So we're literally raised in that mindset, right? And then we become an adult. You're hardened in that mindset. So now, so when you're in a relationship or even a friendship, it's hard for a lot of men to discuss their true feelings, their inner feelings, because they were raised that you're weak if you show that expression. So that's a real big problem.
So it's like the socialization of men, like how men are socialized as boys. Like, hey, boys don't cry. You don't share your feelings. Oh, you're being a punk or whatever, like those derogatory statements. So by the time the boy becomes a man, he's been conditioned not to talk, to internalize everything.
Yep. And if you're not raised by good men, if you're not raised by mature or stellar men, you won't know that that's the wrong way to think. You'll keep thinking like how would you know that is wrong if nobody tells you? You know what I'm saying? So we have to be there. We have to have some kind of mentors. Some mentorship is really important, especially in the Black society of manhood. Like there has to be leaders out there that's going to tell you like, hey, what you're doing is not the right way. Let me show you. Like, don't preach to me. Let me show you how it's done, you know? But a lot of our black men, a lot of men, we don't have that, you know? So
yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have like, you know, a pastor, my grandfather, my uncles to show me the way.
Mm-hmm.
Even when my friends, my male friends showed me at school, like, hey, this is the cool way to do things, you know, push drugs. But when I went home, when I went to church, they would say, hey, don't do that. I've been here way longer than your friends. And let me show you what a real man does, you know?
Mm-hmm. So I guess then Sealz, one of the questions I want to ask you is going back to internalization, because what I'm witnessing, or that I'm starting to realize now, men that do express their feelings, oh, you acting light skinned, or, you know, these phrases that we hear, like you're being sensitive, but then men have to exert their energy somehow, whether if it's they become promiscuous, they get into drugs or alcohol, anger issues, because all these other emotions, whether it's anger, shame, maybe they had trauma when they were young, that energy has to go somewhere. Maybe they're overachievers as far as working longer hours than normal. Maybe they go to the gym and they take it out there and they're just, you know, hiding behind their aesthetics, or you have all these degrees. Like there's a way of compensating to kind of mask the true feelings. So how do men break that cycle of there's nothing wrong with being successful, but not letting success be your mask for your emotion?
You know, one thing I highly recommend is exposure, being exposed to new things. When we're in the same society for most of our lives, we're used to the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see other men doing the same thing to express themselves and frustration or whatever the case may be, we tend to do the same thing. You know, oh, this dude, he's frustrated at this other guy, so he's gonna go fight him or he's gonna go shoot him. So if I feel the same way, I'm gonna do the same thing because everyone's doing it, right? But then if you have exposure to new things, new societies, new peoples, new cultures, newness, you'll see that there's different ways of expressing your frustrations or expressing whatever you're going through, you know? So exposure is a big thing. And it goes back to mentorship. How can we know if we don't know? You know, we have to be shown the way. There's healthier ways to have a outlet.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the normalization of having feelings. And that's one of the things I'm working to do here. Of course, I have Black women come on. We discuss what we discuss. But I do want my podcast and my space to be a space that's, from a communication standpoint, a place that's safe for Black men like yourself and other Black men to come on and discuss whatever, and it's not weaponized. And what I've seen too, that when men and women are in relationships and then the men get into a space with their women where they feel comfortable enough to open up and talk, and then there's a disagreement, the man or the woman, particularly, you know, some women will come back and take that secret, air quotes, and then they turn it into a weapon against him. And then that's wounding to the man. And then she's like, oh, I was just mad or whatever. And it's like, but you went below the belt. And so now your man, your husband, your boyfriend, whomever will not open up and talk to you because it's like he remembers. And even if it's not a disagreement, but just speaking without thinking, and you're saying something and not realizing that it hurt him, and you just go on like it's the norm, and they're just like, why are you so quiet? What's wrong? Nothing. And can you kind of unpack that a little bit?
So that goes back to men being fearful of expressing themselves as well, because a lot of men have been damaged, you know, and they don't know how to communicate even that. You know, this situation happened to me. Like someone you love and trust, you tell them, you know, things in confidant, and then something happens that doesn't go their way and they use it against you. Like that is one of the worst things you could do to a man. And then just if one of the worst ways you can lose a man's trust right there. And not only doesn't affect him in that situation, but it might affect him forever. Like even in all his future relationships. Now someone else has to get cut because he's bleeding right now. Because of the damage he has right now, it's going to affect his whole future. You know what I'm saying? It's like an example when you break a mirror and then you put all the pieces back together. Yes, now a hole, but now it has cracks all over the mirror. It's not the same. It's whole, but it's not the same. So that's a great way to lose a man's trust.
Wow.
And another reason why men secretly fear expressing themselves.
So do you think men should create environments, excuse me, and be a landing pad for each other? Like, how can other men do that where you're not antagonized or your sexuality is not being questioned or challenged because you're expressing your feelings? Like, how can other men, particularly Black men, do that and break that taboo, that stigma?
Good question. I feel like, once again, us brothers, we have to be honest with each other. We have to communicate with each other. We have to create groups. One thing I really respect and admire with women is that women are quick to make groups. They are quick to come together for a cause, or they're quick to even have fun with each other. You know what I mean? They're good to have, to make trips with. Like, women, they come together for whatever. Men, on the other hand, we should be better at it, because when it comes to certain things like sports or certain activities, we'll come together for that. But what about for the betterment of our community? What about for the betterment of our families? We need to talk to each other. We need to learn from each other. Communicate with each other. Communication, number one thing. We have to learn how to be vulnerable, be open, because if we don't, men are going to stay the same as a whole. Women are quick to tell them how they feel. Like, overall, women, like, they'll tell you how you feel. Like, no problem. But men, we have that tough mindset, that hard exterior. Like, oh no, I can't. We got to let that go. Egos are number one thing holding us back.
You said the ego?
Yes.
Why?
Because we hold on to the ego like it's making us better, but it's not. Egos, it's only attributing to our external look. It's only attributing to our aesthetics. Because when a man goes home and he goes in that room alone, he closes that door, he's probably crying. He's probably upset. He's probably frustrated because
crying.
Yo, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many men are
crying in the shower.
No, to themselves. Hey, it doesn't matter. In a car, like,
wow,
men go through a lot of things.
Yeah.
But then when he comes back,
you know what? That's true. But you think about it, the pressure, and I look at it as far as like with Black men, like you have just the pressure of being a Black man.
Yeah.
Then you have to provide, and then this false stereotype of what a Black man should be. It's like you can't even be yourself because society says, well, Black men are this way and Black men are that way, externally and internally.
Yeah.
And if things fall out, it's on you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. Then you have to add in systemically what Black men go through on top of that.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And you got to understand, like, men are held to a high standard. Like, we have to hold the family. We have to hold the household. We have to take care of everything. We have to be the protector. And for a lot of men, if you're not ready for that pressure, you can't handle that pressure. Mm-hmm. So now you're in your car, you're in your isolation moment, and you're just going crazy. But when you walk through those doors in your house, in your home, and your family's there, you have to, you got to put on the strong face. You got to put on the front, like you're okay, So that, and this is something that's not talked about enough with men.
Or that I guess men are expected to always have the answer or know how to fix something.
Have to.
And it's like, you can't say, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, if you say, I don't know, right, well, let's find out together.
Exactly.
But again, that goes back to ego.
Exactly. Because once again, your lady is there she's your partner, But like I said, when you were raised in a certain mindset, you think you have to do it all. You're in a relationship. You're in a partnership. Y'all got to do this together.
Yeah. So, Sealz, then going to that, then what's up with the tug of war where, let's say you're in a relationship and she can hold her own. And it's not that she's emasculating you. She's not trying to demean you in any way. But I've seen some people in relationships where there's this pull because, well, she's making more than me, or maybe she's more knowledgeable in this area. And I feel like it should be more of a complementary situation. Maybe there's something that I don't, or vice versa. I don't think it should be a tag on the ego, but like you said, a partnership. So what are your thoughts on that?
I actually made a video about this on my channel like last month. And I was saying, when a woman, in my opinion, when a man meets a woman who knows something, who has expertise in something that he does not, that is a major turn on. It's like, whoa, like it's like, wow, she's very articulate in this thing. And if you're interested in that thing, now you want to learn more. And it also brings curiosity for her. It's like, man, if she knows this much about this, if her drive is this crazy about, about her passions, I want to know more about her. It shouldn't intimidate you. Like, you should have confidence in yourself that you know who you are. You're a man you're your man, right? And she can bring something to your table. And now you're like, maybe I could bring, we could bring something to the table together. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a big plus if you're confident in yourself.
Right.
So if you lack self-esteem, if you lack confidence in yourself, then you have, situations where it's like, you might be intimidated by a woman who has her own thing, or, a boss like you. You know what I'm saying? So you saw what I do there?
Oh, you saw me. We had a whole running joke offline. We're gonna behave. We'll joke later. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let me stay focused. Pivot. Okay, next question. So what are your takes on how a Black man's approach to therapy and mental health? I think it's important. Mm-hmm. I think whether if you're a man or woman, Black, white, whatever, I'm an advocate for mental health. I believe in mental health therapy, counseling, all of that. And there's so many, particularly within our community, that there's a reluctance to do that. So if you know someone, you're like, hey man, I think maybe, and it's not that you're crazy or anything's wrong, but for a Black man to be so reluctant to not want to do therapy or counseling, how can that be introduced not only between his girlfriend, partner, or spouse, but just amongst each other as brothers?
Yeah. It once again, it takes trust. It takes trust, and it also takes back to what we first said in the beginning. It takes breaking that mindset that you have to be a man and find a solution to everything, because there's people out there that know way more than you, and people out there that those people can help you. I started taking therapy this year actually because COVID was rough, man. Like COVID was, and I was inside I live alone, so I was by myself, and I was just like, it felt like your brain can be your prison, like your house can be a prison at times because you can't go outside and all that. Yeah. So I was like, I need some assistance, and it's the admittance, you having to admit that you need help.
Yeah,
and as a man, that's a really tough decision for us.
Goes back to ego.
Yes, it goes back to ego. Like, you need help, man. You can't do this alone.
Yeah, I do it too, just because I feel like I know. You know how like your life is going in this direction that's like an upward space. Yeah. And I just feel like, we're like airplanes. You can't get to the next altitude if you got baggage, you got that weight, and in order to do that, you have to drop some of that. And that's why I started years ago, just because I was like, I don't like how I'm feeling. My thought pattern is not always super positive. Like, what is this about? And it's work. It's not like you do it and then you stop. It's a continual process. Yeah. And I've had the same therapist probably last 5-6 years, and she's awesome just because, you're going to have your hiccups, whatever. But when you look at the spectrum, it's like, man, like the way I think about conflict resolution or certain things or how I move now versus 5-6 years ago, total 180, because I just feel like, and just for myself, my own quality of life, to be happier, to be more creative. You can think about things, I never thought I would be doing. Like, now I'm in digital media and writing and things like that. But your creativity gets locked up if your subconscious mind is so focused on other stuff. Yeah. And then too, at some point, I do want to be married, in a relationship, whatever. And I don't want to bring my stuff into the situation. It's like, girl, you need to handle that now. Yeah. And it's there to grow, to flourish, to be happy, grow spiritually together, because it's two souls coming together. Yeah. And people are like, well, it's 50-50. No, it's 100-100. You got to give your all. He has to give his all. And you can't do that. What's the saying? You can't take two broken people and make a whole relationship. It's just not possible. And I don't want to be one of those women that's coming with baggage and then damages a man because I didn't handle my business before we got married. Like, I just want to be that person.
Right. Right, and that's a good point. Like when you get into and that's another thing. When you get into a new space, something you're not familiar with, something your parents or your mentors never told you about, you need someone who's been in that space to help you out, to give you advice. You know, it's so much our parents can do, or the ones who raised us can tell us. You
Mm-hmm.
know how to survive in a hood, or how to survive, wherever situation we're in. But like you said, we get into new vertical spaces, and you're just sitting here like, where am I? Like, what am I doing here? You need to
Yeah.
talk to somebody who's there to learn about, to give you tips, and not feel like you're alone in this, So
Yeah,
that's
I totally agree. That's really
yeah,
good,
yeah.
Sealz. I just so when you were going through the things you experienced with COVID, and was there a situation or a moment that you were just like, I got to do this, or was it just an epiphany? Like, hey, within myself, I don't feel balanced, and I need to go talk to someone.
I feel like when I start to be alone for like long lengths of period of time, I feel like none of us have been alone as much as we have during this period. Like we either went to work, or went out to eat, or went out with our friends. But in the beginning, when COVID, everything was shut down, so you were at home. Unless you were going to the grocery store, you were at home for like probably 48 hours straight sometimes, to yourself. So for me, that was the case. I was like, I started having like, just dark thoughts. It was weird. Another thing is like, if you don't get enough sun, your body reacts to that. It's a
The
whole like,
vitamin D,
yeah,
yeah.
vitamin D. Your body literally darkens itself. It gets, real deep. So not being able to go outside and stuff like that. But that's when I realized, I don't think I know myself as much as I think I do, because I've never had these thoughts before. I never would think I would think certain things before.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they were dark or anything. It's just
Right. It
certain
was
things you just,
different. It was something
yeah,
different.
it was
Yeah.
different. It's like, damn, I don't think I really know who I really am as much as I want to know. And that's when I was like, I think I should talk to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
just to have an unbiased ear to talk to,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to talk to someone,
Yeah.
you know.
Again, I think it just goes back to the stigma, particularly within our community, and then to Black men. I just hate the fact that there are so many misnomers or stereotypes placed on us as a people, to where, oh, well, there's something wrong with you, you're crazy, or certain parts about you are in question, or like to demean who you are as a person, particularly as a Black man into today's society. And we're living in like the new civil rights era, watching like my soror, Sandra Bland or Breonna Taylor or George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and the list goes, Elijah McClain, and it's just nuts how we are going through that, plus politically what we're watching, plus COVID, plus the economics and hurricanes and families, and watching loved ones. Like, it's a lot. And then you can't go see loved ones because we've been quarantined for the last 19, 20 months. And it's just, your family's depending on you. You've got to work. I just can't imagine as a man, a Black man, that level of stress and anxiety. Or if you're an entrepreneur and business is up and down, that's a lot.
Yeah, for me, it was the police shootings. Like, I just felt like I had no one to like really express myself to when I was going on. Even I had people at work that would, direct message me like, "Hey, are you okay?" Because they know I was the only Black guy on their team. So like, "Hey, if you want to talk, we can talk." But it's like, I really can't say what I really want to say to you.
Right.
I need someone who knows what I'm going through. Someone who's going through what we're going through mentally. Like, certain groups of people don't understand what we go through, and just seeing things like that every single day on the news, like the toll that takes on us, and we're inside. We can't go anywhere. So it's like that was a very tense time, at that time. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me, I don't know, and I like, Black history. So reading about the butt breaking farms in Jamaica and the Caribbean and here, and how horrific that was. Yeah. And the way the situation was set up, they would do it in front of the women and children. So where the women were watching their biggest, strongest men be traumatized the way they were. And I'm not going to go into it here, it's too graphic. You can go study that for yourself as documentaries. But to see that now, and the first time it really messed with me was Alton Sterling when he was being choked out at the store. And I remember crying because as a Black woman, I felt powerless because I'm watching this Black man get choked out by this white man and there's nothing I could do. Then it was like, okay, reset. And then Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland. And then that hit me because Sandra Bland was a member of my sorority. So it was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is an educated Black woman. Breonna Taylor, hold on, wait a minute. Then turn around, and then when I saw the whole video of George Floyd, that messed me up because this cop was on his knee having a good time. And I just remember sitting on my couch in the living room, just bawling my eyes out. And, and I work, with older Caucasian white men, and even though we're quarantined before, I remember how I felt then. So I can only imagine if we had not been quarantined that happened and then I went to work, So even though it sucked, I'm glad it happened during the quarantine because I think as Black people, we're able to kind of have those conversations freely and openly without having to deal with the office politics. Process that at home behind closed doors. And I just remember watching the trial and the feelings, and I'm just like, I was mad, like I was angry. And so then you see other Black men watching it too. You're mad, but then it's like, well, if I do something, are the police even? I mean, they might get indicted, but are they going to get arrested? It's just I understand that, and to just see what my brothers are going through as a Black woman, it takes me back to what we saw 400 years ago in that sense of you want to help, you want to be help, but then you feel powerless, and it's just this two-edged sword situation where if I do, but if I don't, it's rough. So, but I am glad that you recognize that because suicide rates have been going up since the pandemic, and I can imagine if you're in a relationship as a Black man and you're in a space where you feel like you can't talk to this person. Like,
also divorce rates too.
I was just about to say that. So then the divorce rate goes through the roof. People really weren't aware of the people they were with, people they were married to, in themselves. Like my grandma always said, this was like a reawakening of our people. Like it's very sad, like the amount of people we lost during this time, but also it was an awakening. Like it was like people really had their eyes opened in whatever way, but there was a lot of eyes open in so many ways, man. That was a time. And we're still going through it, we're still going through it. We're not out, and we may go back the way things are going. We may end up going back to that. I think now that people are realizing, hey, you have avenues, you have help, you have choices. If we were to go back in quarantine, I think we're able to better handle it. We're a little better equipped, especially with virtual mental health outlets and things like that. I think that's very helpful. I do want to ask you, Sealz, as far as what are things men can do for each other, but also women in the relationships with them men, with those same men, to make them feel comfortable enough to want to talk out. Hey, man, are you okay? How are you doing? What's going on? And not just the usual, man, I'm straight, but like an honest answer where they feel comfortable enough to open up and talk and have conversation to say, hey, you know what? If you do come to me, if whatever we discuss stays here, this is a safe space. It's not going to be weaponized against you later. Like, what would that look like?
I feel like you have to be a good listener. It's not always about talking, right? So I believe in communication goes two ways: listening and expressing, right? So we already, dived into the expression portion, but that's half of being a good communicator. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to not feel like a force, because I know for me, I didn't like talking to people about certain things because I felt like they were going to lecture me. Like I feel like they were going to judge me or talk my head off. I don't need to hear none of that. I need to talk to you to express myself I need to tell you what's going on with me. If you're able to listen to me, then I trust you enough to be able to talk to you in the future, for more things that I need to talk to about, So I feel like you have to be a good listener. Um, I just had a brain freeze. Another thing is I don't want to make it. I don't need to get the perception that you're a big talker and that you're a reckless talker and that you tell everyone's business, right? So one thing I really I'm big on is people who tell me other people's business. I don't really like that. One thing is, if you're telling their business, then who says you're not telling my business? So if I'm able to trust you, if I'm able to see that you know how to manage people's business, because that's very important. That's high priority information that people are telling you that they don't expect you to be telling other people. If I see that you're able we're able to talk and you're not able to keep water in the bucket, as my grandma would say, then I can't trust you. So it involves you being a good listener, to be a full communicator, and being able to like hold water, be able to be a safe, and it's safe in two ways, like, right, like being a safe as a vault, like holding information in a safe place, right? And that's another reason why a lot of relationships and friendships don't work, because when the man goes home, he doesn't feel like he has a safe place in her. Like, the house is not the home, it's her, it's the family, right? So if that's not a safe place for the man, then there's not going to be any communication. It's not going to breed trust, all those good things, right? So that's those are two things I really believe that you have to have locked down in order for a man to be able to express himself to you.
Yeah, and I can understand. I've been in situations where I've had, some very close friends of mine have left things with me, and then when it came out and I placed through, I'm like, "What, girl? What?" Even though I'm like, "Well, okay, but it's just like having a good poker face. Now, if it's general, like common knowledge, and people know whatever, but like the heavy stuff, even like now, I have friends, I talk to every morning and have shared some heavy things with me, and I would never share it just because I feel like if you trust me enough to tell me that, it's there. So and vice versa. Like, I've shared some personal things, with some people I talk to every morning, and because there's an understanding, like you have to have that person you can go to, one or two people you can go to, where you have a safe haven. Because if not, where can you go other than writing Dear Diary? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that sounds enough sometimes.
Yeah. So it's just like you have to have at least that one person. And one thing I've learned, over the years is that even the strongest person, Superman, has to be Clark Kent, but you cannot reveal that Clark Kent identity to everyone. Everyone can't handle seeing you cry and break down. I have a circle of people. We've all, what I call, have done life together. We've cried and boo-boo, snot and prayed for each other, whatever. But I can't do that with openly. Like, I hate when people put their business on social media, or you're doing these last video, hey, Facebook family, and they, it just, what I'm saying? And it's just like the old Escape song, "Who Can I Run To?" And it's I love my old school R&B, but it's just like you have to be able to be transparent and vulnerable in a space, like we said at the beginning, where I know it's not going to be weaponized, and where so like one of my homegirls, Whitney, she may be on here. What's up, Whit? We were talking
right now.
Oh, hey, girl. We were talking last week, and we've both said this at different times. And it's like, we're both strong women, but sometimes you get tired of being strong. It's exhausting. And I feel like men for the same thing. Like, every day you're out here, you're the strong Black man. You got it. Da 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 da. But can you come home and just be like, "Oh, babe, today," And it's not like she's looking at you like you're any less than a man or questioning your identity. It's just, you're just being a person. just had a rough day that you can
right.
talk about it and then, you know, whatever.
Right. And that's why I stopped telling people be strong, like when they were going through things. Like I personally stopped doing that because it's like it's not about being strong. They've been strong, you know? And I tell them, like, you know, take time to heal. Take time to become whole again. Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rush the process, you know, because being strong ain't enough.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I think that's one of the falsities as far as about social media is the fact that, like, to me, social media is like a highlight reel. It shows you all the highs, you know. If they show you a low, it's like, really, is that your low? Or are you just doing that for, you know, clout followers? Mm-hmm. But the ups and downs of all of that, like, why not be the person that if you cry today, lean into it and cry. Yep. Have that moment. Because my grandmother used to tell me all the time, there's more room out than in, meaning you're going to implode or explode. Either way, somebody's going to get hurt, you or a lot of people. Yep. So I feel like you do have to process those feelings. And some days I don't want to be strong. I'm tired, you know, and I think for us as people, you know, if you're not single or not, you have to have a space where you can express those thoughts without judgment, without weaponization, and it's not held against you later. And have the moment and then keep it going.
Yep.
But you got to do the work.
Yeah, you got to do the work. And I just want people out there to be real with themselves, man. Like, don't conform to society. That's another thing. That's another thing that puts so much pressure on us. Like, we feel like we have to conform to society, and we feel like we have to conform to our own family ideals, right? Your parents tell you you need to go to school to be a doctor, but you want to be an artist. You want to be a musician. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Do what you want to do, and learn from your mistakes, and that's how you'll get to your happiness much quicker.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. There's so much, Denzel, I just want to unpack with you. You have so much to bring to the table. We didn't even scrape the surface. Definitely want to bring you back just because there's just so many layers to you. And I just feel like as we delve into going into Q4 and the new year, I do want to take this podcast to another space where we have these type of conversations with Black men and Black women, and even maybe have a third person where we have a panel discussion about it. I think it's very important when we talk about the conformity and what Black men have to do, air quotes, you know, to maneuver or navigate life. And it could be painstakingly hard when you have that weight on your back, but you can't be your authentic self because of judgment, ego, societal roles, whatever. And so I do, if you want to, like to have you back to continue this conversation, because I think it's very important, you know, even what you have to say, you know, from the male's point of view, I think it's very important that you have those spaces to do so. So thank you.
Right, man, this is awesome. Definitely. No problem. You know, I'll be back. Definitely.
Okay. Y'all heard that. This is recorded. So
and your audience is lit, man. You got some supporters, man. I like y'all, man. Yeah.
Shout out to the 6 a.m. crew, the Mark Coley Business Academy, the 6 a.m. crew. Okay. That was the crew I was low key plugging you on earlier when I was talking about. I talked to my friends at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's who they are. So I do want to do some shout outs while we're on here, just because you know my people are rocking with me. I just didn't want to break the flow of the conversation just because there was so much being given that we would have lost the content. So I think what I will start doing is, as we get towards the end of the episodes, is do the shout out, because it can be kind of distracting when we're in a flow. There's like, oh, hey, Mark, what's up with you? It's a lot. So I do want to shout out what's up, Rakondia. Hey, Mark, he's the founder of the Mark Coley Business Academy. Whitney is here. Lisa, let's see. I think Sam may have been on here. I think Michael, what's up? So just the people are coming through, followers, everyone that is watching now or may catch the replay later. Thank you so much just for rocking with me through the process. First of all, I gotta go and confess. So Sealz, I found him on YouTube. And you know how you're watching YouTube, or if you watch certain types of content, things will pop up, and his video popped up. And I was like, oh my God, he seems kind of cool. I like his content. It's really dope. And so then, you know, Mark is like, you got to pitch and get out there. And he was like, I can tell you're a little introverted and am, but it's okay. So, we did the networking thing and he said, yes, and he has hit a milestone of 50,000 subscribers today on YouTube. We celebrated that earlier. So congratulations to you for doing that.
Appreciate it.
But just the fact that despite where your platform is going, that you said yes to me, someone that's coming along the way, that means a lot because I definitely want to learn more about, conversation and just networking. Like I said before, I think you're dope. You're very articulate, very intelligent, very smart, have a lot to say. And I definitely wanted to share my space with your space, my space with my people to you and vice versa, just because I think it's a great situation. So just thank you so much for just coming and sitting on my side of the court and checking things out. It just is really cool. I definitely want to bring you back. And like I was saying, we have Heart and Soul coming up, guys, October 11th and 12th. So even though the ticket has been closed for this year, I definitely would love to bring you on next year as a panelist if you'd like to join us.
I'm there.
Awesome. Yeah. That's what's up. So y'all heard it here. 2022 Sealz The Man is coming to the Speaker Podcast, Heart and Soul. So y'all look out for that.
Yes.
Before we close, and I always do this with all my guests, before we leave, give us like 2 takeaways or pieces of advice that you can give that they can think about until you come back.
Okay. I like that. Let me see. One thing every single day that I believe on. If you think about something every day, pursue it. If that's something that's going to bring you blessings, the blessings you think you've been praying for, you've been hoping for, do it. Go for it. Because there are a lot of dreams that are in the grave right now. There are a lot of wishes that are laying in the grave right now. There are a lot of people who didn't wake up this morning who want to do something today. If you want to do something in your life, it doesn't matter. Don't let anyone hold you back. Don't let yourself hold you back. Do it. Go for it. Find a way. And the things that we find that we think are most difficult to get accomplished are easier than you think. And that's why it is so important to get out there, like how you just expressed. Get out there, network, get mentors, talk to people who are in the space that you want to be in. Get out there. You ain't going to accomplish nothing sitting down and being still. You have to move. Progress literally means move, right? So we have to break things down in order to get to the big picture. Small steps, small things make bigger things, right? So listen, Camille, you don't understand how it irks me when I talk to
second win.
when I talk to people and they say, I want to do this. No, you do not. You don't. Because if you did, you would do it. Because what happens when you're hungry, you're going to find a way to get something to eat. When you need to pay for your diapers for your kid, you're going to find a way to get those diapers. So why don't we use that same hunger, that same passion, that same drive for ourselves? It's not a secret. It's not rocket science. Use that same drive for us. We can't pray and not work. We can't pray and not walk. We got to pray and execute. It's a pair. It's a combination. All right. So I just want to encourage everybody out there. I encourage myself every single day. It's not like I'm preaching to y'all. I tell myself every day, like, Sealz, get up. I know that alarm clock. You keep hitting that alarm. Get up. It's time to get to work. If you really want what you want, you got to get what you want. It's as simple as that. So I want y'all to get out there, get it. No excuses. You got this. It's only you that's holding you back. That's it. All right. It's me, Matt.
Mic drop. Boom.
Come on, get it. Y'all better go get it, man.
I love it. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. So people that want to connect with you on social media, want to follow you, check out your YouTube, where can they do that?
Oh, so I'm Sealz The Man on all platforms. Well, I'm only on 3. YouTube, Sealz The Man, Sealz The Man. Instagram, same thing. And Twitter, I'm not on there as much, but I'm trying to be better. But my 2 main are YouTube and Instagram. Sealz The Man.
Cool. So with that being said, everybody, I hope you got something from this episode of the Speaker Podcast. This is your girl, Camille Essick. Until next time, be blessed. Thanks, everyone. Still stay on. Good night. Bye-bye, everybody. Peace.